Hey guys, what's going on? This is Night Called Kiwi or Dylan here bringing you a brand new deck profile on the brand new cards just released by VJump, I think 2 days ago. It was the day that we uploaded the Blue Eye support video discussion, but these were just released and announced by VJump, and lo and behold, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro has delivered and is allowing us to use the cards by scanning them and keep making them into their basic card form. That made sense? I think that made sense. Anyway, yes, these aren't available in Dev Pro or many other dueling sites that you may normally use, which is why I have a different background than what I'd have in the Super Quantum video. So, remember, only Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro will have this. So, without too much further delay, let's get started on this deck that I am superbly excited for. If you have any suggestions for this deck, leave them down below, as I love to hear as many suggestions as you can, and I'll more than likely post a follow-up video with the updated deck and the ideas presented to me from there. So, let's get started. We're going to start out with 3 Blue Eyes White Dragon, 1 Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, 3 Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, 2 White Spirit Dragon, 2 Maxx, 3 Guard with Eyes of Blue, 2 the White Stone of Legend, 3 Sage Knight with Eyes of Blue, 1 Priestess with Eyes of Blue, 1 Maiden with Eyes of Blue, 1 1-for-1, 2 Polymerization, 2 Maiden, 1 Dragon Shrine, 3 the Melody of Awakening Dragon, 1 Dragon's Mirror, 2 Forbidden Lands, 3 Silver Scry, 2 Wonder Wand, and 2 Royal Decree. Up next is a classic 1 Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, 2 Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon, 1 First of the Dragons, 1 Starform Dragon, 1 Leo, the Keeper of the Sacred Tree, 2 Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, 2 Azure Eyes Silver Dragon, 1 Sun Dragon Inti, 1 Spark Dragon, 1 Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, 1 Galaxy Eyes Dark Matter Dragon, and 1 Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. So, this deck, as I've come to understand it, is similar to Necroz in a few ways. 1, you can search out a lot of the cards with your own effects, and 2, you're not going to be relying too much on trap cards to get off your counter your opponent and get off your own cards. Rather, you want to be relying a lot on the monster effects like Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon and White Spirit Dragon, the former being able to destroy a monster on the field but it can't attack, and the latter being able to destroy a spell trap card every single time it's summoned. So that works well. So let's start off with an explanation on all the cards, because that's what I do. So we have 3 Blue Eyes White Dragon. There's the basic level 8 monster, legendary dragon with powerful engine destruction, and right now it actually does have a powerful engine. So you're going to be running 3 of these, nothing less, and 3,000 attack, 2,500 defense. Can't deny that. It's really, really good. Up next is Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. You can special summon this card by removing from play 1 face-up dragon monster type. Oh my god. Dragon type monster you control. Once per turn, during your main phase, you can special summon 1 dragon type monster except Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon from your hand or graveyard. Don't need to worry about the last half of the effect because you can't summon another one because you only have 1 Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon in your deck with the current ban list. But this is a very, very good card as it serves in a way as a monster reborn for a lot of your Blue Eyes cards. Not alternative white, I'll get to why in a bit, but I will let you get out Blue Eyes White, White Spirit Dragon, White Stone of Legend if you ever want to for some reason, your Synchro, your Fusions. All of them, all available to you right away if you use Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon to banish 1 card on your field. You can bring back another, it's really good. So say you have 2 Blue Eyes out in the field and a White Spirit Dragon in the graveyard. You can banish 1 of the Blue Eyes in the field to special summon Red Eyes from your hand. Then you can use the effect of Red Eyes to bring the White Spirit Dragon from your graveyard onto the field, activate White Spirit Dragon's effect to get rid of 1 of the spell trap cards on the field, etc, etc. It's a really good card that I highly recommend running at the highest of what the format allows. So we're running 3 Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. It's a very interesting card. It has one of the most unique special summons I've ever seen and one that really makes it superbly powerful. Cannot be normal summon slash set, remember that. Must first be special summoned from your hand by revealing one Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand. So this means that you can only special summon it from your hand by showing that you have a Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand, this one, and special summoning it like that. That's it. That's the entire summoning requirements. And this is very easy to fulfill with some of the cards I'm going to show off in just a bit. So, up next, you can only use it once per turn this way, and this card's name becomes Blue Eye White Dragon while on the field or in the graveyard. This is very important for the fusions, like Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon and Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon, which require Blue Eyes White Dragon cards. Lastly, once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls and destroy it. That's simple, except you can't attack afterwards. So, a lot of the time what will end up happening is that I will use, say my hand will be Maiden, which allows me to discard one level 8 monster to draw 2 cards, Silver's Cry, Blue Eyes White Dragon, and Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon. I would special summon Alternative White Dragon, use Maiden, send Blue Eyes White Dragon to the graveyard and draw 2 cards, then use Silver's Cry to bring that Blue Eyes White Dragon back onto the field face up. That way I'd have Blue Eyes White and Blue Eyes Alternative. I would activate Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon's effect to get rid of a monster on the field, then I can fusion summon them into Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon. It's sounds a bit complex, but once you get down working with this deck, you'll begin to learn just how good it can be and how it works. Definitely worth it. Okay, so up next is White Spirit Dragon. This card is always This card is always treated as a Blue Eyes card, which allows it to be searched for by, say, the tuner monsters, which I'll get into in just a bit. This card is treated as a normal monster on the hand or graveyard, which lets you special summon it with Silver's Cry, which is basically a monster reborn for Blue Eyes cards. Target one Dragon type normal monster in your graveyard, special summon the target. Basically, you can use it on Blue Eyes or White Spirit Dragon. Okay, but up next, when this card is normal special summon, you can target one spell trap card your opponent controls, banish it. It's not sent away to the graveyard, it's banished, which means they can't get it back to their hand with some sort of card that brings graveyard monsters back to their hands, which is much more common than banished monsters. So, yeah. You can tribute this card to special summon one Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand. That last effect is a very good way to get around a lot of things that are trying to destroy you. Say someone activates compulsory activation device on your White Spirit Dragon. Well, that activates a chain, which lets you use White Spirit Dragon's effect to bring out Blue Eyes White Dragon, which negates the compulsory activation device because it has no target. That's it. I feel like I had a bit more of the sense at the end, but I just didn't continue. Anyway, continuing onward, we have 2 Maxx to help me with drawing power, or help you with drawing power, whoever decides to use this deck, really. So, we have 3 Guard with Eyes of Blue. When this card is normal summon, you can special summon one level 1 light tuner monster from your hand, which basically means any of these 10 cards. So that's Guard with Eyes of Blue, White Stone of Legend, Sage Knight with Eyes of Blue, Priestess with Eyes of Blue, and Maiden with Eyes of Blue. You can target one effect monster you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon one Blue Eyes monster from your hand. You want to use this effect once per turn. So basically, if your Guard with Eyes of Blue is the only card on the field and you have a Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand, you can use this effect to either destroy itself or another one of your monsters on the field, as long as an effect monster, to bring out your Blue Eyes. Very, very good card, I think. Up next is the White Stone of Legend. This card is one that's been around for quite a while. When this card is sent to the graveyard, add one Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand. So, say if you activate Guard with Eyes of Blue's effect, the first one, which will allow you to special summon one level 1 light tuner monster, you can use this, normal summon the Guard, special summon the White Stone of Legend from your hand because it was already there, then you can activate Guard's effect to get rid of the White Stone of Legend. It would go to the graveyard, you would bring out a Blue Eyes from your hand, and then because of White Stone of Legend's effect, with it being procced from being sent to the graveyard, you can get a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand just like that. Up next is probably one of the most important cards in the deck, in my personal opinion, Sage Knight with Eyes of Blue, also one of my personal favorites. When this card is normal summoned, you can add one level 1 light tuner monster from your deck to your hand, except Sage Knight with Eyes of Blue. This means, again, any other tuner monster besides Sage Knight. That's Guard, White Stone of Legend, Priestess with Eyes of Blue, and Maiden with Eyes of Blue. Oh, excuse me, I got a cough. Alright. You can discard this card, then target one effect monster you control and set it in the graveyard. And if you do, special summon one Blue Eyes monster from your deck. Now, mind you, this can be done with any effect monster. Even if you just decide to normal summon Maxx just to get it out there as a target for this effect, it will work. It'll work on White Spirit Dragon, it'll work on Blue Eyes Alternative White, it'll work on Red Eyes Darkness, it'll work on any of your tutor monsters. Any of them, as long as they're on the field, you can activate Blue Eyes, Sage Knight with Eyes of Blue, or Wise Knight. I've seen both. I'm gonna say Sage Knight. You can activate Sage Knight with Eyes of Blue effect, and then you can get it off and do some really nice stuff where you can send away one card and to bring out another Blue Eyes, either White Spirit Dragon because it's always a Blue Eyes card, or Blue Eyes White Dragon. So up next we have another very pivotal card to this deck, Priestess Eyes of Blue. It's a card that I believe is very, very important to this deck, but you probably shouldn't run more than 2, and I'll explain why in a bit. During either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets its face-up card, you can send one effect monster you control to the graveyard. Add up to 2 Blue Eyes monsters with different names from your deck to your hand. Now this is an incredible effect, so this can mean anything that's targeted. So you can use Guard with Eyes of Blue, normal summon Guard, special summon Priestess with that, then use Guard's effect to target Priestess, then use Priestess' effect from being targeted to target Guard with Eyes of Blue, and then you can you can bring 2 Blue Eyes monsters like Blue Eyes Alternative White or Blue Eyes White Dragon to your hand immediately, and then use Guard to special summon a Blue Eyes or a White Spirit Dragon. It's a very, very powerful card that lets you search out whatever you want in this deck basically, and will let you get some incredible plays off if you let it. Now there's a reason why I only have one, and that reason being that I have the Melody of Awakening Dragon. This card, you can discard one card and add up to 2 Dragon type monsters 3000 or more attack and 2500 or less defense from your deck to your hand. This card was made for Blue Eyes White Dragon in a way, and before these cards were even announced, by these cards I mean like Alternative White and White Spirit and such, this card was already pretty nice for getting Blue Eyes White Dragon to your hand. Now you can do it to get Awakening Alternative White Dragon to your hand and a Blue Eyes, which means you have a guaranteed Alternative White Dragon potential to go out. It's very, very nice. The reason why I only won one Priestess with Eyes of Blue is because the effect that you need to be targeted with a face, this card needs to be targeted by an effect, makes it a bit hard to get off sometimes because, well, it's not Maiden. That's basically it. It can still be targeted by an attack, and it can still be brought down very easily. So that's why I don't take this card too heavily into consideration. But you can definitely run 2 and have this deck be plenty effectful. So on to the secondary effect. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one Blue Eyes monster you control, shuffle it into the deck, and if you do, special summon this card. Mind you, that is not sending a Blue Eyes monster to the graveyard, that is shuffling it back into the deck, which makes it, again, targetable by Priestess' effect. So if you have, say, a Forbidden Lance or a Wonder Wand, you can pretty safely get rid of, say, a White Spirit Dragon. Yeah, you can get rid of a White Spirit Dragon on the field, activate Priestess to activate Priestess' effect from the graveyard, special summon Priestess, send White Spirit Dragon back into the deck, then you can activate Forbidden Lance or Wonder Wand on this, and you get a chain of events going to get these cards into your hand. You can do a lot of crazy stuff with it. You definitely require some playing around to get to know exactly how it works and how you should use it, but it can still be used very, very well. Up next is Maiden with Eyes of Blue. This is a classic at this point for being the original Blue Eyes support. So, when this card is targeted for an attack, you can negate the attack, and if you do, change this card's battle position. That means if it's an attack position, it goes to defense position and it negates the attack that came in, so it's not going through. Then you can special summon one Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Now, this only means Blue Eyes White Dragon. You cannot special summon Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, I believe. That might be wrong, but I don't think you can summon an Alternative White Dragon, even though its name becomes Blue Eyes White Dragon in the graveyard. it's still a bit finicky. I'm not exactly sure how it works. You might be able to. To be honest, I haven't tested it to that extent. I've gone about 30 duels to test out consistency, and I'm still working on getting it into the meta. But I definitely think this deck could still be really, really good. But anyway, when this face-up card is targeted by a card effect, you can special summon one Blue-Eyes White Dragon for hand, deck, or graveyard. You only use one effective Maiden each time, effect once per turn, and only once that turn. That means you can't get two Maidens out and use that card for a different thing just because it's a different card. No, you only use the effective Maiden once per turn. Now, the secondary effect is what makes this card so fantastic, because it's like Priestess, where if you have the Sage Knight or Guard in your hand, you can use their effects to target Maiden, activate Maiden's effect, and get off some sweet potential with sending both this and another card to the graveyard, either special summoning a Blue Eyes, or maybe searching out another Blue Eyes with the other effects you were using, etc, etc. It's a bit hard to explain without the actual reference in front of me. I'm going to more than likely be doing a series of duels with the other member of the channel, Destiny Draw, KT, so we can show off exactly how these decks work. Now, he's also going to do his own Blue Eyes variant with some very interesting ideas for fun, so keep an eye out for that. But Maiden is very good for getting out of Blue Eyes from anywhere in your deck. I need to turn off Discord. That actually kind of scared me, so don't check your Discord, guys. Alright, but continue onward. We have one 1-for-1, which can get out any of your tuners, which is very good. Generally, I'm going to use it to get out Priestess, and then use a Forbidden Lance or Wonder-Wand in my hand to set off its effect. Either Sage, whatever works. Up next, 2 Polymerization to get out any of these 3 guys, and I'll go over them in a second. 2 Trade-in to increase your, the way you cycle through the deck, that's it. And because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 level 8 monsters, you have a good chance of running into them and being able to cycle through your cards really, really fast. Up next is Dragon Shrine. This is a card that has been around for a little while now, and I used in my original Blue Eyes deck before all these support cards came out, along with Trade-in and Maiden and all that. So what it does is that you send one Dragon-type monster from your deck to your graveyard, then if the monster in the graveyard is a Dragon-type normal monster, you can send one more Dragon-type monster from your deck to your graveyard. So basically what that means is that if it's a normal type, like Blue Eyes White Dragon, you can send another one to your graveyard. So a good way to handle this would be send Blue Eyes White Dragon to your graveyard, then send White Stone Legend to your graveyard so you can get a Blue Eyes from your deck into your hand immediately, and have that Blue Eyes in the graveyard ready to do whatever. Sometimes Blue Eyes can be a little bit of a dead draw, but it's not too often, but it's nice to be able to cycle through them and always have only 1 or 2 in your hand. It depends on the situation, really. But it's very good for getting ready to use a Dragon's Mirror or Silver's Cry very quickly to get them a lot of Dragon cards on the field very, very fast. Up next is 3, the Melody of Awakening Dragon. For this deck, I'd honestly recommend always running 2 or 3 of this card, just because it's so good with getting Blue Eyes and alternative White Dragon to your hand. You can discard 1 card out of 2 Dragon-type monsters with 3,000 more attack, or 2,500 or less defense from your deck to your hand. Because Spirit is a reverse of that, you're not going to be able to do it the same way. But you're not going to be able to send it to your hand with these cards. But these add insane consistency to getting alternative White and Blue Eyes White Dragon to your hand and getting cards to always special summon out. It's really good. Up next is Dragon's Mirror. Dragon's Mirror is a card that works a lot like Polymerization to get out fusions, except it works with only dragons and you can do it from your field or your graveyard. So, say if you have 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons in your hand, a Blue Eyes White alternative dragon, stuff like that, a Polymerization, and a Dragon's Mirror. So you would activate alternative White Dragons, get it out on the field, it's now treated as a Blue Eyes card. So you use Polymerization to fuse the alternative White with the Blue Eyes in your hand, they can get out, say, Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon. Then, using Dragon's Mirror, you can get out the other Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon by using the cards that you just use as materials in the graveyard. Banish them, they can get out another one. So that way you will have 2 Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon out. It's very tough to get over sometimes, unless they have like a Dark Hole or Raigeki. So moving onward. 2 Forbidden Lands. This is a very versatile card in this deck. It serves as a really good way to proc Maiden with Eyes of Blue effect, or Priestess with Eyes of Blue effect, and you're generally going to be using them for that purpose. They also serve as a way to well, I guess I should read the description. Target one face-up monster on the field. Until the end phase, that target loses 800 attack, but is unaffected by effects of other spell trap cards. Excuse me. So if there is a trap card like Compulsory Evacuation Device or Mirror Force or something along the lines, you can activate this card from your hand to set it onto any of your dragons. But mainly you're going to be using it to trigger the effect of Priestess or Maiden, so you can special summon and search out different cards in your deck. It's very, very good for that purpose and will help you a lot with achieving such a goal. So, up next we have 3 Silver Scry, like I explained earlier. It's basically a monster reborn for Silver Scry for Blue Eyes White Dragon. 2 Wonder Wand for the same purpose as Forbidden Lands, except you can use it to draw 2 cards as well. So, you can, say you had a 1 Maiden on the field, you can activate Wonder Wand's effect, equip it to Maiden, activate Maiden's effect to send it to special summon Blue Eyes. Then you can activate Wonder Wand's secondary effect to send both cards to the graveyard and draw 2 cards. This is a really good way to cycle through your cards and get a lot of really powerful things going, because you can continually have the monsters you need to get powerful plays. And lastly, I have 2 Royal Decrees, because Royal Decree, well, to be honest, with this deck you have a lot of spells and a lot of monsters, so you don't really have much room for trap cards. I've tried other variants where I had trap cards like Great Horn of Heaven, not Grand Horn of Heaven, had to correct myself, but I found that it was a little bit slower compared to this deck. But Royal Decree, what it does is that it negates the effects of all of the trap cards on the field, and it's a continuous, because you don't run any other trap cards. It's a very good way to shut down opponents' ways of countering your monsters. It's very, very nice. So, up next we go into extra deck. Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon requires 3 Blue Eyes White Dragon, and remember, when Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon's in the graveyard, its name is treated as Blue Eyes White Dragon, which means with Dragon's Mirror, you can get out Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon with Alternative White, Blue Eyes White Dragon, or any mix of all of them. The same rules apply to Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon, except this one's much better than Blue Eyes Ultimate. It must be Fusion Summoned, either Fusion Summoned or Special Summoned by sending the above cards you control to the graveyard, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. So you can only special summon it with... Oh, earlier I said that you can special summon it with Red Eyes Darkness Metal. Ignore me, that's not true. I might put an annotation up if I remember. But basically, if you have 2 Blue Eyes on the field, 1 Blue Eyes and 1 Alternative White, 2 Alternative White, you don't even need this Polymerization to activate it. You only need to send those 2 cards to the graveyard to special summon this from your extra deck. But, continuing onward, it cannot be destroyed by battle, which is very nice. This card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during the battle step. Now, note that says on monster, this isn't on life points, so it doesn't have as much OTK potential as some people may have thought at one point. If an opponent's monster that battle this card is not destroyed, you can banish that monster. So if someone uses, say, Honest on a card, you can still completely banish it, and there's no cost, it just happens. And then you probably get your second attack on another monster on the field. It's a really, really strong card that really ties this deck together really well. But not as much as this guy over here, and I'll get into him in just a second. So up next is First of the Dragons. This must be fusion summoned and cannot be special summoned by any other ways. It will only control 1 First of the Dragons. This card cannot be destroyed by battle except by a battle with a normal monster, and is unaffected by other monster effects. So this is a really, really good card to ensure that you have a sort of lockdown on the field, that they can't get past you because they don't have a normal monster. And you're only going to be using this fusion with Blue Eyes White Spirit Dragon because it's treated as a normal monster on the hand or graveyard, and Blue Eyes White Dragon. That's how you're going to get out. Up next is Starform Dragon. Basically, when this card's synchro summon cannot be negated, and the card's effects activated in the battle phase. So, yeah. It's that simple. So, when someone tries to activate a trap card on this card, you're not... Sorry, I'm having real trouble saying this. when someone tries to activate, say, a Mirror Force on this card during battle phase, it won't affect Starform Dragon. Simple as that. So you have a way to get around a lot of trap cards really easily with this card and get off some guaranteed attacks, which is very nice. Up next is Leo, the Keeper of the Sacred Tree. This card cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects except during your main phase 2. Very good, because you can't be targeted by card effects, you're going to have a very safe way to get through with some sweet damage. Up next is Blue-Eye Spirit Dragon, one of the hearts of this deck. It requires one tuner and one or more non-tuner monster. Blue Eyes monsters. So basically you're going to be using Blue Eyes and want any of these tuners to get it out. So neither player can special summon 2 or more monsters at the same time. Let's dissect that part real quick. This means that a lot of Pendulum decks are slowed down immensely by this because they just cannot special summon 2 or more. They can only have that one Pendulum summon monster. That's really, really good, guys. Once returned during either player's turn, when a card effect is activated in the graveyard, you can negate the activation. This is really good to stop, say, a lot of Light Sworn decks, or in my case, Skull Servant, because I run that. During either player's turn, you can tribute the Secret Summon card, special summon one Light Dragon type Synchro monster from your extra deck in defense position, except Blue-Eye Spirit Dragon, but destroy it during the end phase of this turn. So, say you want to clear the field as quickly as you can bring out Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, destroy a special summon monster on your opponent's side of the field by activating Blue-Eye Spirit's effect to get rid of Blue-Eye Spirit and special summon Black Rose. Yeah, that was a bit of a long about way to go about it, but this is a really good way to tie things together and to keep everything very flowy, you know? It makes it so you can get through your deck really quickly and you can activate a lot of things very quickly. You can get through all of these fantastic light cards, which I'll list off here. Azure Eyes, Silver Dragon, Sun Dragon Inti, Stardust Spark, and Black Rose Moonlight. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to say about it. You can activate during either player's turn, so if your opponent special summons a monster, you can activate Spirit Dragon's effect, bring out Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, and just get rid of that monster. Here's your friendly reminder, Blue-Eye Spirit Dragon can be targeted by Red Eye's Darkness Metal Dragon, so you can just bring it out, have that card out again, and continue to wreak havoc over the opponent. Up next is Azure Eyes Silver Dragon. Very important card in this deck, as when this card is special summoned, Dragon-type monsters you currently control cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects until the end of your next turn. Very good for keeping an extra line of defense that these cards need. Once per turn during standby phase, you can target one normal monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. This means White Spirit Dragon and Blue Eyes White Dragon. Very, very good. Another way to get out monster born of sorts besides Silver Scry and Red Eye's Darkness Metal. Up next is a card that not many people are going to use. I have not seen this card before I started looking into this, and it's a very interesting one. The reason I haven't seen it is because it requires one Fire Ant Ascator, I think, and one or more non-tutor monsters. So when this card is destroyed by battle and sent into the graveyard, destroy the monster that destroyed this card and inflict damage equal to half for that monster's attack. This card on the field is destroyed during this. Okay, yeah, the last part doesn't matter in this deck, but let's special summon a Moon Dragon Quila. But this is very good because if there is a bunch of high-level monsters threatening this card or your side of the field, while you have Blue-Eye Spirit out, you can activate Spirit's effect to get out Sun Dragon Inti. And if someone tries to attack it, they'll be in a really tough spot because they'll lose a lot of attack points from losing that monster and having that attack just knocked out of them. Up next is Stardust Spark Dragon. Once per turn, during either player's turn, except during the damage step, you can target one face-up card you control once during this turn and cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects. This is a very good card that protects all of your cards very, very well. Yeah, that's about it. I can't think of anything else. It just protects your cards in a way that keeps... Well, yeah, like I said, this... I don't know why I'm so back and forth today. My goodness. I did wake up like an hour ago, so that might be it. But anyway, you can use Stardust Spark Dragon to protect any of your cards in here. As long as it's on the field, you'll be fine. And because, well, to be honest, it's going to be very difficult to get out unless you use Azure Eyes Silver Dragon. So, use that. Black Rose Moonlight, already went over it. When special summon or level 5 or higher monster special summon to your opponent's side of the field, target one special summon monster your opponent controls and return that target to the hand. Very brutal to prevent a lot of plays. And up next is Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. This is a very good card by itself in that it requires 2 level 8 monsters, and once per battle phase, at the start of your battle phase, you can attach 1 Exceed material from this card and they get all the effects of all cards on the field. And also their attack and defense become their original attack and defense. This is really good against rogue decks like Noble Knights. They will be able to really slow them down and stop them if they can't have their effects of their cards, especially their big Exceed monster. And when during the battle phase this turn, each time an opponent's card effect resolves, this card gains 1,000 attack to the end of the battle phase, and it can also make a second attack. It's very intense circumstantially, and very, very interesting overall. And it also lets you get into Galaxy Eyes Dark Matter. You can Exceed summon this card by using a Galaxy Eyes Exceed monster you control as Exceed material, basically Tachyon. So, Exceed materials that were attached to Tachyon become part of this dragon, etc., etc. Cannot be used as Exceed material for Exceed summon. When this card is Exceed summoned, you can send 3 different archetype monsters with different names from your deck to the graveyard, which banishes 3 monsters from your opponent's deck. You can also attach hold on, you gotta go around. You also come on. It's not scrolling. There we go. Go on. Where is it? You can attach 1 Exceed monster from material from this card. This card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during the battle phase of this turn. It's basically like Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon, but a bit bigger, and can be short battle. So, yeah. So, in my extra deck, X side deck, I have a lot of cards that could be thrown into this deck if you really wanted to, and could be very effective. Honest, it's always good in light-based deck, and almost everything except Maxx C in this deck is light-based, so good. Another White Stone Legend, just to add a bit of consistency with that in case that's what you need. 1 more Priestess, because, like I said earlier, explained, it really does work to have 2 if you really want it, because Priestess' effect is just that good. Maiden with Eyes of Blue, just to continue that consistency. I believe with this build you can use up to 3 of Maidens very, very effectively. So I recommend trying that out a bit if you're testing out this deck yourself. Fusion Recovery. Target 1 Polymerization, 1 fusion material monster that was used for a fusion summon in your graveyard, and add them to your hand. So if you use Polymerization with Blue Eyes White Dragon and say alternative White Dragon that was on the field, you can 1, get a Twin Burst Dragon, and 2, activate Fusion Recovery to get the Blue Eyes and a Polymerization back to your hand immediately. Very, very good. Up next is the 3rd trade-in, just to add a bit more consistency in case you don't find the trade-ins too cloggy. I found 3 a bit cloggy, but hey, you do you. Up next is Dragon's Shrine, in case you want to keep that effect of being able to get a Blue Eyes to your hand immediately with White Stone Legend. Upstart Goblin, in case you want to thin out this deck and have a bit more consistency with specific cards. 1 more Dragon's Mirror, in case you keep wanting those effects to go off. 1 Foolish Burial, send 1 monster from your deck to the graveyard. Simple, works to send Blue Eyes to the graveyard and activate Silver Scry. Works like that. Book of Moon. This is a very interesting card because it works with Maiden's effect, but I haven't had any luck with getting it to trigger Priestess's effect. I'm not sure if that's just Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro going wrong or if there's a weird ruling I haven't been updated on, but that's that. Up next is Defusion, which will select 1 fusion monster on the field and return to the extra deck if all fusion material if all the fusion material monsters that were used for the fusion summon are in the graveyard, you can special summon them. So if you have 3 Blue Eyes in your hand, activate Polymerization to get out Blue Eyes Ultimate, you activate Defusion to get special summon all 3 of those Blue Eyes from the graveyard and put them onto the field. It's very, very interesting. Up next is 1 Prohibition. This is a main card I've been playing around a lot with, along with Cloak and Dagger. When you activate this card, declare 1 card name. Cards with that name and their effects cannot be used. This works very well to stop decks to have 1 key card to get things going, like Bujin Yamato. So keep that in mind. Up next is Fusion Reserve. Reveal 1 fusion monster from your extra deck, add 1 of the fusion materials from that card from your deck to your hand, and then you can add 1 Polymerization from your graveyard to your hand. So this has a guaranteed way to get out Blue Eyes, and it has a very guaranteed way to get Polymerization if you already used a Polymerization in that duel. Very interesting. And of course, the 3rd World Decree. So guys, thank you all for watching this deck profile. I really hope that you guys try out this deck. I've been having a ton of fun with it. Leave any suggestions you have for this deck down below, and if there's enough of them, I will have a follow-up video, just like I'm going to be doing with Super Quantum soon. As a final note, a card that can be used in this deck is Kinka Bio. Yes, a very interesting card, I have to say, but it lets you get out level 1s back to your field, which can help you get out a lot of interesting plays. I found that it didn't have quite the home in this particular variant of the deck, but it can definitely have a great home in other versions of the same deck. So, thank you all for watching. I've been NightColdQ with Destiny Draw, and I hope you have a very fun time dueling, guys. See you all next time. Bye-bye.